How do you top your love for your cat? With a cascade of decadent savory gravy over a mouth-watering mousse pâté. Fancy Feast gems. 2 gourmet pâtés in one convenient pack. Simply peel and plate to reveal a pyramid shape that makes eating delightful and pamper her with an experience as extraordinary as she is. Turn the everyday into the extraordinary with Fancy Feast gems.
Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
For a limited time at McDonald's, get a Big Mac extra value meal for $8. That means 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, and medium fries, and a drink. We may need to change that jingle.
Prices and participation may vary.
This podcast is supported by FX's English Teacher. Last year's critically acclaimed series returns to follow Evan, Gwen, and Marky as they vie for their students' divided attention. See why Cosmopolitan called its premiere season a masterclass of comedy, while Glamour raved it's the year's funniest and most heartwarming new comedy series. FX's English Teacher, all new Thursdays on FX. All episodes now streaming on Hulu.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
It's Pack Your Knives. I'm Kevin Arnovitz.
And I'm Tom Haberstroh.
Tom, what is your favorite weird protein?
Oh, my favorite weird protein. I'm a big fan of beef tongue. I love tongue.
Yes, tongue is the correct answer to this question. This is not a subjective question. That is an objectively correct answer. Beef tongue is delicious.
It is delicious, and I feel like if you didn't have to see the actual text, tongue, taste buds on it, the contours of the tongue, I think people would be like, this is the greatest.
Now, if you were to go to a Macau market, like our contestants this week, and you would see the tongue in the market, you would be completely grossed out. First of all, the beef tongue is this much larger than you imagine a dog's tongue, and it's not. It's just enormous. I mean, it's a very large item.
It is Gene Simmons of the animal.
I mean, it's the size of a small vehicle, but so Tom, we're in Macau. I mean, you and I are not in Macau. I'm in Atlanta, and you're in Charlotte. But our contestants are in Macau. This is the finals. A little odd, 5-person sort of remote finals. Usually it's 4. I think when they get back to the to the destination. Am I correct, or has that changed?
Yeah. I was a little surprised at that too. But I guess with Kentucky, they didn't have that many things to do, or maybe the last one backed out. I have no idea, but they got to Macau, and I'm excited for it because I have never been to Macau, and it's always been my dream to go to one of those Asian markets, just open air. I feel like Tokyo has this, and I'm dying to go there, where it's just tons of crazy food. As Kelsey once said, it feels like they were walking in a crazy movie.
It is. Macau's lovely. It is a ferry ride from Hong Kong, and I have been. It is sort of fascinating. I mean, I think culturally it's very much a Chinese place, but as mentioned, it is administered by the Portuguese, so you have this sort of Portuguese flavor. I went to actually a Portuguese restaurant when I was there, and it's fun, man. Those markets are really fun, and you could see. I mean, it is just one new thing after another, and that was the quick fire.
Are you someone who will get down and dirty with those markets and try everything, or are you like?
I mean, I've gotten poisoned in Bai, Thailand, like kind of eating intestines off the street. Like trying to challenge and kind of be hardcore and prove my worth to the locals. I've gotten, but it's the best. But, I mean, really, it gets to a point where going to a market in a far-flung place is my single favorite travel activity, no matter where you are. Like we were talking with, you heard Eric talking about the markets in Ghana, and it was totally like the Kumasi market in Ghana is the best. That Macau market, all over China, anywhere in the world. I mean, it's kind of the great thing about those markets is it's the one constant in a world where like there's tribalism and places are very different and there's sort of the Tower of Babel effect. The one constant across every culture, no matter where you are in the world, is you can find a market. If you can just find a market, and they are all fundamentally the same. And that's kind of the beautiful thing about markets. It's the great comparative study, culture over culture, city, rural, developed world, developing world. Markets are amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of like food is the common language that brings us all together.
It's great. So that's what they did, right? Quickfire is actually pre-quickfire is go with Graham Elliott to the market, buy a bunch of unusual seafood proteins, everything from kind of the jumbo large scallops, which are nothing like the base scallops most of us eat most of the time, to those little sea squids, and you had some razor clams that were wiggling all over the place. And when they got back, and the eel that was just killed right in front of everybody, and then they were to come back, there was essentially a draft for the protein, right? With Michelle. No, it wasn't Michelle going first. Was it Michelle? Someone drew first. Actually, it might have been Sarah went first with the scallops. And then they had to go back to the market and be inspired by what they saw to kind of fill out their dish, find the ingredients, and come back and cook.
I thought this was a coming out episode for Graham Elliott, because I don't know if he had like a distinctive personality on this show where I felt like he gave some perspective that the other chefs didn't, or he had a certain, I don't know, a signature mark. And I felt like this episode, it kind of all made sense. Him being in Macau, where he has a restaurant, and walking through the market, I just felt like he owned this episode. And I felt like, yeah, okay, now it makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, more than just big guy, funny glasses. No, actually, it turns out he has a place in Macau. He has a really fun insights on sort of on sort of how to work with these proteins and sort of the way the local cuisine surfaces in the dishes. So yeah, it was good. Yeah, getting out of the shadow of too bad, Gail Simmons isn't here, right? Like here's your consolation prize. Big congenial man, funny glasses. No, far more than that. More substance.
He knew his stuff. He knew his stuff. And it's not that I didn't think he had the credentials, but it really came through on this episode when he was talking about the different proteins and the different veggies. And it really showed through and made me feel like, this is going to be so much cooler, because now we have someone who has a lot of experience here in this Asian epicenter of culture and of I guess extravagance. I mean, I've never been to Macau, but you've described it to me as I don't know, is it a Las Vegas of?
Yeah, it is a little bit of that. Like it is the place where where you go to gamble. So it definitely has that. I mean, those are sort of the anchor stores, if you will, from at least a tourist standpoint. But it has this old kind of Portuguese colonial feel, and but it's cool. I mean, it's just a really cool amalgamation of tastes. I mean, Hong Kong and Macau are just, it's just such a great trip. I think Macau is fundamentally a day trip, but Sarah went first, Tom. And Sarah chose, she thought she was getting regular scallops that we all work with, those little soft, lovely little pillowy things. And then she opens up those big ass shells, and it turns out, no, sea scallops, entirely different ball game. Really hard. And so that was funny. Kelsey, again, just kind of beautifully chose the gumfish, which are those funky fish that are sort of without scales. But at the end of the day, it's like the perfect fish fry item, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
Again, we'll talk more about Kelsey. It was just a huge week for her, but I just think, and we have talked about it all season, and we're going to be joined by Kelsey. but just somebody who I think just so, from a very intuitive standpoint, understands the game, understands the competition, understands what you're cooking on a given week, why you're cooking it, what they're going to expect from you. And she just continues to just refine that instinct in this show. Had a great week. Michelle, and I'm telling you, Tom, Michelle, you had her on the bottom of your power rankings. This is a serious chef and who has serious skills and just a real range of skills. And I'm telling you, she is going to be reckoned with in the next 4 weeks. It is not going to be easy to overcome Michelle Minori. She is the sleeping giant. She's always been one of the best chefs in this competition. She just runs into some, she gets thrown off by the sand traps that the show presents. But let me tell you, she's actually better suited for the late rounds than the early rounds. She is going places. What did you think of her dish? Her winning quick fire dish.
I mean, the cuttlefish noodles, and I haven't been to the restaurant that she got the idea from in San Francisco, but brilliant idea. Way to just like make this make the protein kind of like a pasta, which is her thing. Which it was a very creative dish and something where she not only did the best with it, but it felt like she came out with the instinct from the beginning. So it wasn't like, trial and error. I don't know if this is right. I don't know if I should do this. I'll try that as a last ditch option. She conceptualized this dish from start to finish and really executed.
Yeah. So the sort of the squid or cuttlefish as pasta. So we had that over the summer at a Matsuhisa. They did kind of a squid pasta. It wasn't great. It's harder to execute than you realize, but it is. Right, these things are kind of curly, and when you cut them into strips, they look exactly like noodles. So why not just kind of do it? Just beautiful. The fermented black bean is one of those lovely Chinese flavors. She throws in lotus root. She just got it. So then we have Sarah's tough scallops, and also Eric. You sense that the poor losers on the quickfire, who essentially were Sarah and Eric, there wasn't an official bottom, but I think you and I identified them as the bottom. Is at the end of the day, it was really they got bad luck with their protein, right? The sea scallops were tough, and Eric's little sea snails were very tough. Padma seems to think he overcooked them. It might have just been the nature of the little beasts.
I mean, when the description is it's a cross between chewy and rubbery, that's not good. When you get the judge's table response when it's chewy and rubbery, I was like, oh no, Eric's done. That's it.
By the way, tough week for Eric. Tough week for our favorite is he didn't perform great on the quick fire. Kind of got some bad luck there, and then we'll talk a little bit more about his elimination dish, which got him basically just a whisker away from being sent home. And then Adrian got the razor clams, which I was shocked that went last. Razor clams are just yummy. Mm-hmm. They're just soft. They look strange. I've seen them wiggling around in the market. That was kind of crazy. Yeah. But she does a great, the razor clam and watermelon ceviche with the lotus root chips. Who doesn't love that dish? That's great. But Michelle takes it. And Kelsey gets accolades for her dish. Adrian gets you can't. I don't know if it was a backhanded compliment, but it was a compliment, which was you can't go wrong with razor clam ceviche. So I think there is a certain ceiling.
A high floor move by Adrian, which is what she's been doing all season.
Who's been doing high floor moves all season, right, Tom?
Yes.
There is a little sense that when you go crudo and ceviche this late in the game on a challenge like that in a remote location with all those flavors coming at you at the market, that it's a little bit cheap. I think that was the suggestion, but nevertheless looked like a good looking dish.
I don't know if you got this the little tell earlier, or it kind of seemed like foreboding when she said, I came on to Top Chef. Like, this was in the first half of the show. She's the little vignette of like, I came on to Top Chef to kind of learn more about myself and just figure myself out as a chef, and just really, would love to go back to Connecticut and live on the farm. And I was like, wait a minute. Is it the whole point of Top Chef is to win Top Chef? And I was kind of like, wait, is this a tell that she might be going off this episode? And I kind of, that was lurking in my head for the rest of the episode, was when she said why I was going on Top Chef was because I just wanted to learn about myself. And yes, that's part of it. But the fact that she didn't say I came on here and I wanted to win, that was kind of a red flag for me. And I don't know if the editors did that on purpose, but I was like, uh-oh, is Adrian going home?
Yeah, I mean, and we're going to get to Adrian's, the sort of elimination. The elimination was Chinese New Year. There was a little twist to the sort of a preamble twist, which was that you get to choose your sous chef. So the five former contestants who had been eliminated marched out with a series, each carrying a tray of ingredients that corresponded to one of the sort of the Chinese New Year. I don't know, the principles, one was longevity, one was happiness, et cetera, et cetera. And then Michelle got to go first, choose. And you got the sense, am I correct, that they didn't really care about it? There was a general trust of all five people carrying those, and the trays were not chosen because of those who were holding them so much as what was in them. Is that your sense too?
Yeah, and I feel like Adrian was the same when she kind of said, I think Padma asked her like, was it because of Brian or was it because of the food? And she was just like, because of the food.
Right.
Yeah,
I wanted to be the one cooking with ginger in a Chinese New Year dish, right?
Yeah, and I think you nailed it on the head, Kevin, is like when I'm presented with the ingredients or the chef, I think I'm picking ingredients, right?
Yeah, and all five of those people are capable, right? There's not like there wasn't a better noir in the collection this year, so they're okay. Michelle chose David. Now she did mention that David is of Portuguese descent and might have a advantage in Macau. I don't think it really ended up mattering whatsoever. But she wanted the noodles, peanuts, and noodles, peanuts, and peaches. I have a couple notes here. One is, I have sort of a little crush on Eddie. And his I find intense, serious people to be attractive. And he did not look good in shorts, Tom. Did not look good in shorts.
Wait. Did he look better than Brian in shorts? Who, I think apparently...
No, he didn't look better than Brian in shorts. Eddie, he's kind of tatted up. He's got this brooding intensity. And he didn't look good in shorts.
No.
And I don't know. It's sort of been haunting me since I watched it.
Well, Kevin, I think last time when we discussed the apparel of Brian on the boat where he was wearing shorts for the first time, I kind of got the sense that you were like, you know what? Most dudes shouldn't be wearing shorts.
No. I mean, look, I choose not to. I think, all right, so there are a couple issues here. I think one is Eddie liked me as a short man. And I think short men have to be careful about shorts because you end up kind of looking like a little boy sometimes. And, if you don't like shorts are good with long legs. If you have nice long legs, shorts can be attractive. It kind of works. When you have short legs, you run into a little bit of a problem. So, Eddie, man, I wish he hadn't been wearing those shorts. He actually hilariously was carrying the happiness.
Yes.
Tray, which Sarah drafted with her selection.
Now, Kevin, I got to ask you, Michelle had not only the pick for what she was, first pick on the ingredient, but we got to little see what her power rankings looks like, didn't we?
Do we know that Michelle chose Adrian out of fealty or friendship?
I don't know.
Or do you think it's like this person's the least threat to me?
I kind of felt like at this stage in the game, it's more about your ability to win the championship. You're so close here that I kind of think you have to put your friendships aside or your fealties aside and actually just go with who you think will give you the best chance of winning this thing. So if under the premise that is the ranking that she had was basically I want to give the short end of the stick to the favorite here. She thinks that the top top four goes Eric, Kelsey, Sarah, then Adrian. If we believe the premise,
that would have been mine. That would have been mine.
Yeah.
Sarah's had a good February, but Kelsey, as we know, is just extremely tough.
Right.
But look, I think the advantage was all the ingredients. There was not, it wasn't like one person got salt and everybody else was screwed, right? At the end of the day, these are professional chefs. The overriding challenge is prepare a Chinese New Year meal 200 people going to show up at a festivity. Pig is supposed to be the highlighted ingredients because this is the year of the pig. Now, there was one very interesting wrinkle. Both Kelsey and Adrian had planned on doing pork belly. And at night, when Kelsey learned that Adrian was also planning on doing pork belly, she decided to change course. I found this very interesting, Tom, because, I mean, I never know if it's a good strategic move or it just demonstrates a lack of confidence. Because, like, if I'm Kelsey, isn't the answer Adrian's doing pork belly? Screw it. We're going to kick her ass.
Yes.
But she's concerned that Brian, as being the sous chef to Adrian and being a pork master and a butcher and really good at this stuff. And she has her theory, which is whenever two chefs do the same thing, for an elimination challenge, one of them goes home. So she just changes course and decides she's going to braise her pork belly, kind of chop it up into the dish. But I thought that was a very interesting play by Kelsey.
Yeah, I think so too. And I guess she was believing more in the Brian as being the butcher. She kind of it was a couple things like you said, and Brian, to be honest, shout out to Brian, by the way, helped me out with a dinner reservation on Friday night at in Boston. He wasn't in town.
Where? Tell us.
I went to Bar Mazzana in Boston, and it was delicious. He hooked me up with a table there, and I had the razor clams for the first time in my life. I had razor clams, and I had not seen the episode yet. So someone nudged me that night and said, "Razor clams," and you said you have you watch Top Chef, and you have a Top Chef podcast. I was like, "Yeah," and the person was like, "Well, you'll understand why razor clams are an interesting choice after you watch the episode." So I sat there. I had this amazing razor clam ceviche with mint and chili, and then I had a pappardelle with the short rib and the goat cheese and horseradish. It was just it was a heavy, amazing meal. And shouts to Chef Brian for Bar Mazzana. It was a really good meal in Boston.
Ah, nice. We like the meal reports.
So Brian hadn't been doing great with the proteins in this show. Like, he is the butcher, but remember the porchetta was not superior, and it was what I think sent him home was that he didn't do that one. It was a little overcooked or wasn't prepared correctly. So, I think Kelsey was smart in the sense of, hey, that's the meat guy. I don't want to go ahead with him, but I also think that she could have had more confidence in that. I think you're right. That was a tricky move by her.
Yeah, just interesting. I'm always curious when major decisions are made based on competitive considerations rather than just cook your food. Just go cook your food. Tough week for Eric.
Yes.
And it was interesting because Justin is his sous chef, and Eric decided he was going to do a curry. Now, curry is one of those things where it is universal. And everything Eric said at the judges' table is correct. Like curry it spans so many different cultures. I mean, from Africa to Asia, different, from South Asia, the India, the Indian subcontinent down to Southeast Asia, down, it is truly, but it is fun. There is no such spice as curry. Curry is just an amalgamation of spice. And he was actually, kind of right in his, maybe wrong in his interpretation of what Padma was saying at the judges' table when she said, I couldn't really make out the ingredients. And he said, hey, look, I mean, that's what a great curry is. A great curry, you don't make out the ingredients because it's just this ineffable kind of mixture of spices and it's just been stewed together. But it can feel like curry is it's home, it's comfort food. But so there's always the fear that it can become a little muddled because it is just this, so you throw everything and you just kind of stew it together. That if you're trying to demonstrate refinement in a competition like this, curry is a hard way to demonstrate it. And you even had Justin at the beginning kind of warning Eric, saying, look, the problem with curry is it might overwhelm the ingredients, right? Because you're not going to taste the lychee in a curry. Right, you're not going to taste the water chestnuts. I think that was one of the things he had. It's going to get lost, right? So it was a little bit of a red flag, and he went with this strong curry. Kind of his error reminded me a little bit of his garden challenge, where he finished on the bottom, which was he did this. He did like a curry soup, right? Like a cream or a curry soup, where hey, everybody agrees it's delicious, but you don't really get the ingredient. You're not going to taste the way that everybody was very much impressed with the pork and the other dishes, right? You're not really going to get that. Like, oh, the way you pickled that peach, Michelle, or the peanuts different ways. You don't get it because everything's just kind of subsumed. And because by all accounts, it was a tasty dish. They all said it was tasty. It just lacks sort of contrast, I think was the word Padma said, where you could really taste, hey, this was delicately put together with considerations of ingredients. But it was a tough week for Eric, and it was a similar error to his other kind of bottom finish, which was the garden, which was everyone loved the soup. It just, you didn't really, there were no, the vegetables didn't come forward. And here it was the same thing.
Yeah, and also, my mom definitely didn't make curry. Did your mom make curry?
My mom did not make curry.
Yeah.
My mom made kugel, but not curry.
Yeah, my mom made beef stroganoff and pasta. That's it. That was her repertoire. She had 3 boys and a girl to cook for every night who were all playing sports. So it was mostly pasta with ragu in my household, but no curry. And same with Tom Colicchio apparently. Eric had curry. The first time this entire competition he was in the bottom, and I think he would admit that this wasn't his best dish. It wasn't, and I know he felt. Agree to disagree about some certain things, but this was a moment for Eric that wasn't his biggest strength. And it's tough because coming into this episode, I would have said he was the head and shoulders favorite. And now, after a bottom 2 finish, or bottom 3 finish, this is not a great showing for him in Macau.
No, his worst week of the tournament. I want to go to Michelle. And again, I think this is a sleeping giant. I felt it from the beginning. I think she's one of the top cooks in the show. And I think, she just says instead of doing a pork dumpling, she's gonna, do it as a wrap. And she makes this delicious filling that Tom was clearly, so you can see his face when he was talking about it. She sort of said, look, I'm kind of almost going to imagine a filling for a pasta, right? Like kind of treat the sort of Macau-based pork products as Italian sausages and salamis and meats and cured meats, and sort of make that the filling for the lettuce wrap. She serves it with a cold noodle salad. Again, contrast. Peanuts, a pickled peach. I mean, really, but it was the pork stuffing, the filling that really just impressed everybody. And she was, she was the number 2 finisher in the elimination after winning the quickfire. So, it was a week for Kelsey and it was a week for Michelle. And do we want to do Kelsey? You want to quickly go through our other competitors and.
Yeah, let's. I just want to keep talking, so we don't have. Yeah, we don't have.
Well, we have our guest, do we not?
We do, but we can do that in like 5.
Yeah, we get that later.
Yeah, so
let's do it later.
So, what about? All right, 2 things I want to talk about here, Kevin. One is when someone hands you a bag of white stuff while you're on the road in Macau, what is that white stuff usually?
That's very dangerous.
It's a very dangerous move.
Yeah, I mean, given that, but
here's a bag of white stuff. Go make a meal with it. It was a very risky move from Kelsey, but it turned out it was cornstarch.
Yeah, well, the flour cornstarch debate in sort of the deep fried world is a good one. So when I fry chicken, I actually use flour with a little bit of cornstarch.
Yes.
But the cornstarch is, as she said, it's sort of a, it's kind of this beautiful, you talk about food being connective tissue. I mean, whether you're in the southern United States or you're in East Asia, like cornstarch is where you get to deep fried, whatever.
Yes.
What a week for Kelsey. What a week for Kelsey.
Yeah, she did great. And I want to say, I think you asked this question last week, Kevin, and I did the research. Is this the first time in Top Chef that the Final 5 only one guy in the Final 5? And the answer
it was Mina Kimes, I think, asked that question. I think the answer is yes.
Yes, the answer is this is the only time in the 16 seasons of Top Chef that we have seen 4 women and 1 man in the Final 5. Going through the list, last season there was 3 men, 2, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 3. So there have been 4 times that we saw.
That was like,
the
you ever go to
ratio
the
thing.
dentist and when they start measuring your gums and they just start calling them out to the person standing there who writes it down?
Kevin, I went to the dentist this morning.
Did they do the 4, 3, 4, 3,
and-
3, 2, 3?
Yeah, it was terrible because she's like, 31's got a DSOM, and then
What is a DSOM?
I have no idea, and so I'm asking him, and she's like, 7. Ooh, 7's
Oh,
got
you had
an
a 7. You're not supposed to have a 7. See, I go 3 times a year.
So no. So I'm saying, like, when she's going tooth by tooth, I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, is when you go to the dentist and they say tooth number 7, and then she like talks about it for a little bit, and I come out, I'm thinking they're gonna have to replace my whole mouth. And she's like, "Oh no, you're good." So I had. This was the first time we switched insurances with my new job at NBC, and so I went to the dentist for the first time, and so I think they were doing the whole like, this is Tom's
baseline,
mouth. Baseline. Yeah. So she was just going tooth by tooth.
Hello, listener. It's producer Maze here to talk to you about Quince and their cookware. Cooler nights mean cozy meals at home, and Quince's cookware has made fall cooking so much more enjoyable. Their pieces deliver the quality and performance of luxury brands, but at a price that makes sense. And they look gorgeous on the stovetop, too. No matter what item you need to complete your kitchen, Quince has you covered. With 5-ply stainless steel pots and pans, nonstick skillets, chef-quality knives, and even ceramic bakeware, which is perfect for cozy casseroles or Sunday roasts. And when you look at these prices, you might think, how is Quince doing this? How do they deliver high-quality items similar to high-end brands that are half the price? Well, let me tell you, they partner directly with ethical top-tier factories to cut out the middlemen and pass the savings on to you. And it's not just cookware. I got myself some bath sheets. That's right. When you're a tall man, you have to use bath sheets, not bath towels from Quince. It's like drying off with a cloud. It's incredible. Upgrade your kitchen for cozy fall meals with premium cookware from Quince. Go to quince.com/dings for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/dings, DINGS, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dings. Hello, listener. It's producer Maze here to talk to you about Kindred. Now, close your eyes like Owen Wilson during a job interview and imagine a way to travel that feels personal, comfortable, and connected without the price tags and the sterile feelings of hotels or short-term rentals. Now open your eyes and stop using your imagination because Kindred has made it very real. That's exactly what they do. Kindred is a members-only home swapping network. It's not a hotel. It's not a short-term rental. It's a smarter way to travel where each stay feels like home. Here's how it works. With Kindred, your home is your ticket. You earn credits by hosting fellow Kindred members, and then you use those credits to stay in over 220,000 homes in more than 100 cities worldwide. There are no hotel costs or rental fees, just the credits that you've earned. Every stay comes with white glove service, 24/7 trip support, and $100,000 in host protection. Make it easier for you to travel and enjoy yourself and not worry about details. I've used Kindred and I found an amazing home for a weekend getaway in an idyllic location with amazing views and great ambiance. It had everything I needed. And the best part was, it cost me $0. So apply now at livekindred.com and use code DINGS to join for free. Plus, you'll earn 5 nights of travel credit just for signing up. That's right, that's 5 whole nights for free at livekindred, KINDRED.com, code DINGS, DINGS, livekindred.com, code DINGS.
Listener, listen up. This is important, okay? I'm going to try to save you some money here. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. You may think like, oh, that's bad. No contracts. No monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Here's why I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for $15 a month. You heard that correctly. $15 per month. Ditch overpriced wireless and the jaw-dropping monthly bills. And of course, there are all these hidden fees and stuff, but at Mint Mobile, plans start at $15 per month. All the plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text. You're not doing like weekend and nighttime minutes or anything like that. and it's delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone. Don't have to get a new phone. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. I switched months ago. People have asked, did you actually switch? Yes, I actually switched months ago, and I don't know what to do with all this extra money. I've cheated the system here. I've rigged something. This is an Ocean's 11 situation where I'm stealing wireless from Mint. That's how good a deal it is. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/dings. That's DINGS. That's mintmobile.com/dings. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
This episode is brought to you by 20th Century Studios' new film, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, starring Golden Globe winner Jeremy Allen White and Academy Award nominee Jeremy Strong. Scott Cooper, the director of the Academy Award-winning movie Crazy Heart, brings you the story of the most pivotal chapter in the life of an icon. Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Only in theaters October 24th. Get your tickets now.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for this day.
Kelsey, she decides to praise and chop up that pork instead of doing it Adrian style. She said something to the camera that in my opinion, kind of encapsulated her. Again, we're talking about her high IQ as a player. She says, I'm embracing where I am and combining it with what I know. And she just, like, that was the challenge, right? Like, that is the challenge. You're in Macau. They want to see expressions of your own sensibility as a chef, but they want you to pay homage to the place you're in. And she has an innate knowledge. Again, whether you're on a houseboat, party houseboat, wherever it is, Kelsey has a very, what we would call in basketball, a high IQ player. Mm-hmm. And she boils down these black-eyed peas and then kind of takes the reduction or the, that fluid along with the collard greens and creates like this mushroom broth with like 1,000 ingredients. She does the Portuguese sausage, which is such a staple there, and creates this kind of gorgeous dish, which is fresh because it's got more veggies than everybody's doing. So, you kind of compare it to Eric, who, clearly made a tasty dish, but just sort of the subtleties, nuances, just like how, each item was defined. It feels Southern, but it also feels fundamentally Macau. And it's just she wins going away, and she just has an intuitive understanding of the competition. Sarah she wants to do kind of a shrimp and grits, but does cauliflower grits with a pork shank, which she cooked in fermented black bean and chili paste. I love that fermented black bean and chili paste combo you get out there. What's that condiment that actually the other Adrian from last season used in one of her winning dishes down the stretch? I forget what that great. It comes in that mama. It's like the Chinese grandma on the jar. I forget what it's called, but it's like a fermented black bean and chili paste. One of our listeners will.
I don't know, but man, I want to go to the market as soon as I watched this episode. I was like, I need to go find a market with this fermented.
Yeah, it's got some Asian markets in Charlotte, and then she just she nailed the flavors, but it just kind of tastes as Padma said, ate salty, even though it was rich, and the cauliflower grits just didn't do the full job. She even quipped on the chopping block. She said, could use about 4 pounds of butter or whatever she said. And
did she not have butter? Like, do you think she didn't have it, or like? Yeah,
there's not a lot of. I mean, it's interesting. You just there's not a lot of butter. It's oil in Chinese cooking. You don't use a lot of butter, not a lot of dairy. And then finally, Adrian went home. It was really down to Adrian and Eric, and I was very concerned for Eric. And Adrian decided to do kind of a deconstructed fried rice dish, right? So she does a little rice cake, does the pork belly on top of it with some chili aioli, and they just kind of they seemed, again, everyone said it was tasted fine. It tasted quite good actually, but there just wasn't depth or it just it wasn't that substance and heartiness that you want from a New Year's dish. It just felt a little slight. But that was it. I mean, one wonders. It did. I don't know if you thought about it, but it did prompt one of those questions. Do you think there are times where the judges, when it's a close call, will eliminate the chef that didn't put together the best body of work over the season again versus the other chef? In other words, do you think Eric's full body of work for the season saved him?
Yeah, but I also felt that Adrian's dish was, I don't want to use the word basic, but it felt like it wasn't as inventive as it could have been. You know, she took a deconstructed pork fried rice, of course, but as they said, it kind of felt like the flavors didn't really blend together and it didn't work together. They were good on their own. It was a piece of braised pork, a rice cake, and a squirt of this sort of chili aioli, right? Like it wasn't it wasn't fully, it was deconstructed but not fully reconstituted. And if you're going to do a tiny bite, you have to really nail it out of the park, because I think they commented on this too, is just the portions were small, and so you kind of were left with a bite, whereas everyone else had like these big, bold dishes with lots of technique. I do think that in this case, they might say they don't eliminate people based on, their body of work. I don't think it dominates the conversation or the rubric in their heads, but I got to imagine they're not sending home Eric on this curry dish when, Adrian, if there's a tie, I think Adrian's body of work coming in here with no wins. The story on Adrian was that she had a high floor this entire season, and I think her two dishes here in Macau kind of speak to that it just didn't seem like she was on the same level, the same peaks, the highs that Kelsey or Eddie or Eric and Sarah hit.
Her in other words, she is a very good chef. It's just that her best dish, her best work is not going to be as good as the others' best work. I mean, there's been when Michelle has come out with her great dishes, there's the magic. Obviously, Eric, her great dishes, there's magic. Kelsey, same thing. Sarah has had just some transcendent moments where they said it was the perfect dish, and you have people in tears at the table, right?
Yeah.
And that was sort of the knock on Adrian, is she's just been a really capable chef and consistent. But is there just that magic? Can she just put together a transcendent performance? No, she puts together really good performances, and I'm excited to talk to Kelsey. Tom, this is exciting.
Yeah.
Good get, as we say in the media business.
Kelsey.
Hi.
Yes. All right. Hey, Kelsey, it's Tom. Thanks so much for joining us. Kevin's on the line as well.
Hey there. Thank you so much for making the time.
Oh my God, thank y'all. I'm excited.
Is this like an all Southern broadcast? We're talking from Atlanta, Charlotte, and where are you?
Me, I'm in Dothan.
Yep.
Nice. We're relatively close by.
It's the best day of y'all's lives, right?
Yeah. This is so exciting. It's funny, Kelsey, we have a term, and Tom and I are basketball writers, and the sort of like the high IQ player is like the player on the floor where it has nothing to do with what play is being called, but just kind of can appraise the situation, the sort of what's at stake at the game at that moment, like where the weaknesses and strengths on the floor, and just kind of know intuitively what to do. One of the things I've been talking about you all season is obviously like an incredible chef, but like you have a real gift in the show for kind of knowing what the challenge is, what it demands, sort of not just, you want to make good food, but kind of know what the judges are looking for, whether it's sort of seeing that a party boat is a party boat and it demands things above and beyond just like, the food, or even you have this beautiful line in the most recent episode where you kind of looked at the camera and said, look, I'm embracing where I am in Macau and then combining it with what I know. And it was like, oh my God, in 9 words, you just kind of defined exactly what the challenge was. And I just think that like watching you, it's sort of as a connoisseur of the show, you've done like your game IQ is just so on. It is just so tops.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. I think that I've thought about it a lot. And I think that one of the reasons I was good at the game is because that's, actually Sarah Bradley said this to me one time. My job's just really crazy because I do catering for a living, and that's how I started out. So, dealing with brides can be like a challenge every single week because they all want different things, and you have to figure out how to please them and also make it work to win for your business kind of a thing. So
you're doing elimination challenges essentially every Saturday.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I like this. So catering is sort of a really, because it's so client focused. You sort of, you have to play that game.
100%. And like my nickname has been forever like MacGyver, because you just have to be able to like pull things out of your ass and make it work. And just, 90% of the time we're standing on a beach or in the middle of a field with no power. And so things go wrong. If things ever go right, I'm like a tornado is about to happen. Like there's no freaking way this is going this smoothly. So, it just, I think that I thought to myself going in, I haven't been in like the Michelin star kitchen for very long. And then some of my friends were like, yeah, but you have a catering business and you're used to chaos. I'm like, yeah, that's true. And I have a toddler, so I like this chaos.
That is amazing.
But,
so you think if I looked into the numbers, like I think Kevin, we might have to do this research project, is our caterers better than average in terms of their performance on Top Chef, Kevin? We never really considered this because right now, Kelsey, you've got 2 wins, and you've been on the low 3 times, been high twice. And right now, Kevin, in our scoring system, which you have deemed flawed now because it is just now at week 14, Kevin, that you've noticed that on the scoring sheet that we agreed on before the season, that at the top there it says winner gets 50 points. But I digress, Kevin. I digress.
To be continued on some other offline conversation.
Yes, but Kelsey, you're at 42 points, and you're just behind Eric at 53 points. I gotta believe you're feeling confident at this point, but did you see yourself getting to Macau with your old friend Sarah? Did you see this happening when you guys found out you guys were on the show together and you guys knew each other from back in New York, I think it was?
Yes.
Were you guys, all right, you know what? Sarah's going to be a beast in this competition. I'm going to see her in the finale.
Yes, honestly, because I think one of the most important things going into any kind of competition or cooking competition, specifically Top Chef, is like, you can't, we've seen it in every season, and we certainly have seen it in my season. You can't be good at one thing. You have to be like, you might be the best at one thing, but that's not going to win you Top Chef. You've got to be like a little bit good at all the things. And so that's sort of, I know Sarah, I knew that she was that way because she's kind of jumped around. She's from the South. She's, she worked for David Posey and specifically did meat for a while. I know she's phenomenal at fish. So I knew that she had like done a lot of things. And she was also the sous chef when I was pastry. So I kind of saw everything that was in her wheelhouse, because when you're a sous chef, you're basically just the doer a lot. So, a lot of the time executive chefs, you just kind of are directing. But when you're sous chef, you're in the heat of it. You're doing people's jobs that call out. So I got to see her in that element, and I could, in the time that I spent with her, could tell she's really good at a lot of things. So I never thought she was going home in the beginning. That never even crossed my mind.
I loved your description of the market in Macau. And one of my favorite things, I travel a lot. It's one of the privileges of being childless, I guess. I just get to kind of go off whenever I want. And markets around the world are just like it's truly, the first thing I do when I get to a place is just, where is the market? And invariably there is one. Tell me about the walk of the market in Macau, because that's otherworldly.
Oh, it was incredible. It was crazy too. A part that I really even don't think they highlighted amazingly was the fact that Graham was with us. And Graham has, I guess his dad was in the military. And so he moved around and hopped around like a ton as a child. So he's lived all over the place. So he knows a lot about, like, they didn't even show his knowledge. It was kind of crazy because
they did.
Anything we asked
Kelsey,
him,
Kelsey, to interrupt you here, I noticed this about Graham, that on this episode, he was an MVP. I just thought his detailed knowledge of the Macau market there, I felt like, this Graham, not that I didn't believe in his credibility, but man, it just seemed like he lived there his entire life. And that really did come through on our end in this episode.
You're 100%. He just, we didn't really spend a lot of time with Graham up until this point. He was kind of like he would be on some challenges, but not really. So we didn't even know if he for sure would be at the finals or not. And so when he showed up to do what we knew was going to be our quickfire that day, I was like, oh, well, this is interesting. It's not Padma or Tom. And then we were all, I think every one of us left after he took us around. We were like, he is just awesome. He has no ego at all. If he doesn't know something, because we're asking him questions, like, okay, what is this? What do you do with it? And if he didn't know, he would ask. And he had no shame in saying, oh, I have no idea. Where you see a lot of people that are in, positions of power or whatever, they'll be like, oh, well, yeah, this is, and they just make something up and you can tell. And he totally was not that way. He just really wanted us to learn and was just a really good teacher and a good, I guess, travel director too.
Yeah. Let's go back to Restaurant Wars real quick. You were on team, was it was with Nene, Justin, and David. Your third coast, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that was a bit of a madhouse. We talked to Justin a little bit this season, but what did we get wrong about what we saw on TV? What was that night like? Because we were at the other one. We were at Northeast, so we didn't get a chance to see you guys over there at Third Coast. But what did people watching at home didn't get to see about Restaurant Wars that night?
Pretty much any of it. It was a just disaster. I mean, when we got there that day for it to happen, I looked at my team and I was like, there is no way in hell that this is about to go well. Absolutely no way. And when we got there, our restaurant theme, this gives you a heads up. You saw what our restaurant looked like. It was like blue with antique plates.
Yep.
Our theme, all we portrayed to them was we wanted it to be like Antebellum House meets modern. So we don't want anything except for white, gold, brass accents, and we want greenery everywhere.
No.
And then we show up and it's like Blue Man Group, and that was how it started out that day. And then it just was like, we were third, which was a humongous disadvantage. And being third, everyone was hours behind. And so I guess what people don't see seeing it is what time it is in real life when this is all going down. I mean, we all start at the same time. We all have exhausting days, but whoever goes last is that much more exhausted because you've been waiting.
Remember that? Like, I felt the same way. Was that I thought that maybe they were gonna get ruined in that show, Kevin, in that episode because of the fact we were waiting for so long. And oh man, the Restaurant Wars group that waits the longest or has the longest wait, it always is the one to go home. And they actually just came out flying colors because the judges table went there first.
Right. No, I'm always wondering behind the scenes, like, what are the sort of unstated advantages and disadvantages? And you kind of just described that.
And
Restaurant Wars.
And the Nene thing, was that overblown, Kelsey, or no?
What do you mean?
That she totally screwed up the front of house.
She had no hope. I mean, that is a fact, if you ask my opinion. I didn't want to be – I mean, it was just – I can promise you, I feel like if any of us had been put in that position, we would have been the one going home. Because it just was – I never wanted to be front of the house, and I never wanted to be executive chef because of this exact reason. Because you just don't know ever. And you're like, yeah, okay, so I might win some cash if we win, but I don't freaking care. I care about next week. And I care about making it to the finale. I want to win the whole thing, not just one challenge. So I was just, it worked out really well for me, this team, because Nene wanted to be front of the house. And then Justin and David were kind of arguing about who would be executive chef. And I was like, I got cook. Y'all are good. I'll take the line cook. Because you just don't know what, especially with Restaurant Wars, you're dealing with so many factors and you're dealing with people. And anytime you deal with the general public and people, it usually doesn't end well. I mean, ever.
Yeah, people are just a pain in the ass. If we could just kind of eliminate the people from the whole food experience, you can just cook and it's this beautiful creation and somebody will enjoy it. Yeah, people are just,
exactly.
I'm over people. Maybe it's just a function of
Wait
age.
a minute. We have Kelsey on the line who just crushed the next episode at Restaurant Boat Wars.
I'm just being a misanthrope, Tom. Come on. What's the favorite? All right, obviously, setting aside anything you that hasn't been broadcast yet, what's your favorite thing you cooked in the season? I have my favorite Kelsey dish by appearance. I mean, one of the disadvantages I don't ever get to taste your food, but I have one of my favorite things. Well, what was the favorite thing you cooked? The thing you're most proud of, not including the stuff that hasn't been broadcasted.
I think. Let me think. Weirdly, this is the one thing that landed me in the bottom of it. The only time I was in the bottom of the challenge, which was Nashville, but I freaking love that dish. Literally,
which one?
Love that. The chicken pot pie.
Oh yeah, the deconstructed. That was a gorgeous looking plate.
Yeah. I mean, it was. I can say it was one of. Even I was actually next to Sarah the whole time prepping, and she was like, "Fuck, you're gonna win this," and I was like, and then I messed up, so it's fine. But
wait, what did you mess up? It was too salty. They said there was just. What was the?
Oh yeah, you want the spoiler of what I did on that dish?
Yeah, come on.
So the last touch, I had 13 touches. I had it totally planned. Everything was going perfect, and my last touch were these shaved eggs. And I was in such a rush, and I had to shave them quickly. And you do it on a microplane, so they're tiny.
Yeah.
And I wasn't looking or paying attention. And then, you just sprinkle it over the top, no big deal. I shaved them into my salt container that was almost empty. So when he said, "Why is there salt like a margarita rim on her plate?" Because there was. I literally dumped salt on my dish.
Oh no.
And I was just you always are in such a hurry, and I always made an extra plate for me to taste. But I tasted every component a million times. And I was like, I don't really want to eat this, so I'm going to try it one more time. And then I tried it, when I got back to the kitchen after judge's table, and I was like, what is this? Went through every single thing, and then it was the last thing I realized there was salt underneath it all, and I just was an idiot, and it was very heartbreaking.
All right. I have to ask you about one of your dishes because I still think about it.
Yeah.
Just by sheer sight. And I love presentation and aesthetics and stuff. The scallop ceviche and the canopy issue with the rhubarb cherry consomme, that corn puree, and it just looked like this little cherry blossom. It was the most lovely little thing. If I want to do that this summer in terms of the rhubarb cherry consomme, how did you do that? That beautiful little fluid.
It's going to blow your mind how easy it is.
Oh my God! All right, tell me. I'm taking notes. I'm putting it on mute.
You do a double. Okay, you would do a double boiler, except for you put a mixing bowl on top of steaming water, and then you add your ingredients in this mixing bowl, which for me I did primarily rhubarb and cherry, and then so I did aromatics after that. So some onions, some fennel. You just do whatever you want. And
so in the metal bowl that's resting on my boiling water, that's not filled with water itself. That's just the ingredients.
No, it's just so what happens is it's called a consomme because it's clear and it's perfect and it's beautiful. But
it was just the most beautiful little thing. It looked like Kool-Aid, but the best. Yes,
it is like Kool-Aid. Yeah, and you let it steep for I would say 2 hours. And so what happens is you're basically steaming this concoction.
Now, if I have a steam oven, if I have a Bosch steam oven, can I do it in there?
Probably, as long as you have to saran wrap it. So it might.
Okay.
Yeah, I would stick to the double boiler because you don't want to put
to the double boiler
and it melt. And so you just basically just steep it like you would tea is really what you're doing, and it pulls out all of the extracts of these fruits, and so then you're left with this really super concentrated liquid at the bottom. It's really cool.
Oh wow! And then that do you strain it, or it doesn't even need to be strained?
I strained it. I did.
Okay.
I wanted it to be crystal clear, so I strained it.
These ones the perfect, and that little scallop is just sitting in that perfect little pool of pink water. All right, this is great.
Yeah.
I mean, you're awesome. I love that canopy. Also, I just love raw scallops in general, and I'm always looking for different ways to do it other than my little dollop of yuzu, pepper paste, and a Meyer lemon. I'm looking for new ways to do my scallop ceviches, and I was like, I need to do the Kelsey. I just have to do that this summer. When the stone fruits come in and I can get cherries and all that stuff.
I mean, it would be delicious with pineapple too. I thought about not for that challenge it wouldn't have been, but pineapple would be a great one. Anything that's watermelon would be fantastic, and it's got so much liquid in it.
So Kevin's going to ask you about that
portion of the show.
Yeah. That's Kevin's cooking class, and that's very much Kevin. But what I want to know is
Kevin's cooking class.
Give me the deets on the houseboat party.
What do you want to know?
So do you think you won, Kelsey, because of your key lime crunch or because of the oysters?
I think I won because of a lot of things. So they didn't. I decorated the boat. Like they didn't. I thought for sure they'd show this whole scene, and they didn't. But before we got to Lake Cumberland, I had this whole game plan. I was like, y'all, when we stop the car on the way there, we have to get out, and I've got to cut greenery. And Eric and Justin were like, "You're freaking nuts."
But you actually made them pull over so you could cut. You could actually get some like.
No.
Well, when we had to stop
Kevin,
for pee break, I was like
from a lab of Top Chef.
Oh, you're so good at this. It's ridiculous.
And at first they were like, "You're ridiculous," and then Sarah was like, "Freaking listen to her, y'all." And so we were like, they're helping me cut this greenery, and then we get to the there's a little area before you get on the boat, and they had all this driftwood on the shore, and I was like, grab all that freaking driftwood. And Justin and Eric were like, "You are freaking nuts," and I was like, "We're gonna win if you listen. Just do it, And they were like, "Okay, fine." And so then I decorated the whole boat. There was greenery all over the tables, driftwood. I had all this cut citrus because that was our whole kind of theme. And they commented on that at the judges' table, how it looked like we had set up for a wedding kind of a thing on the boat. So I think I won because of throwing a party. Obviously, my food wasn't bad. I mean, clearly, but the challenge was not cook the most beautiful, tasty cocktail food. The challenge was throw a party, which includes good food, good drinks. So I think that their biggest thing, I'm sure in a judge's head, they had ticking points of did they plan well? Did they post well? Did they party well? Did they have good food? Did they have good drinks? So that's what makes a good party. And I think that's why I won.
If we hang out in LA one night and we didn't want to go out and drink or anything, we just want to have a nice little chill night at your house. Kelsey, can you ship some key lime crunch over to us?
Oh yeah.
Yes, that was the puppy chow, right?
Yeah.
That was another brilliant touch. See, you knew the game. That was just the little takeaway bag. That was brilliant.
Everybody loves the party favor,
Everybody loves party favor, yet no one else thought of it. That's the thing. It's not just cooking food. It is the full on thing. Meanwhile, I'm looking at the KBC weekly menu. This week is fried green tomato BLT week at your
for lunch, yes.
For lunch. Now you do lunch and so wait, you're caterer, but this is a storefront.
So I had a catering company that I started first, which was, how old am I? 6 years ago. And then I opened the restaurant 4 years ago, and they're totally different. So the catering company we travel, we do weddings primarily. We do a lot of things, but weddings is kind of the big one. And yeah, so the restaurant, we serve lunch, brunch, and supper, and they're all different menus.
Oh, here we go with the supper. So it's wild salmon week with mushroom risotto and roasted carrots for those our listeners in the Dothan, Alabama area and northern Florida. Yeah. It's worth the trip.
Thank you.
That's great. No, okay, I got you.
How did you get on Top Chef?
So actually, my general manager was obsessed with Top Chef she's watched every season from the very beginning. And 2 years ago, she was like, "Oh my gosh, they're doing an open casting call. You need to do it." And I was like, "Well, if you want to do it for me, knock yourself out." And she did. So I actually got on last season, Denver, and then I found out I was pregnant. And the girl who does, we all kind of had, me and Eric shared someone, we had the same person who kind of recruited us. And then she called me this year, the second that she could, and was like, "All right, you ready? You're not pregnant, are you?" I was like, "No, I'm not pregnant. I don't think."
Wasn't that the same story as Eric? Didn't Eric?
Eric was pregnant?
No, his
wife
was getting married last year.
Oh, he was being married. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So you and Eric were going to be on Top Chef Denver together.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I know, isn't it weird?
Did the Kentucky thing work in your favor, you think?
I'm extremely glad that I was on this year rather than last year. Sometimes it's harder if that's the genre of food you're cooking and you're in the area. I'm telling you, I would not want to do Top Chef Alabama. And you see what I'm saying? there's all this levels of pressure when you're the hometown person that I was never envious for Sarah of, not once. Even though she knew more sometimes going in, it doesn't matter. It really just, it's almost like you had this new weight on your shoulders, and I don't know. That's just how I felt. I just felt that would be more pressure on top of the pressure you already have.
You should follow, everyone listening, you should follow Kelsey at Kelsey Barnard Clark on Instagram, because you shared some amazing clips from your journal, or at least your, I don't even know what you call it, your journal from Top Chef. And we kind of were blown away by Chef Brother Luck and how just the conditions, the living conditions that you had. And so this journal is kind of everything, the only thing you really have. It's like your best friend on this show when you're in captivity. So what's in your journal from Top Chef, and how can people understand what it's like to be kind of, as Kevin says it, in like confinement for weeks on end?
I think all of us had a totally different experience with. That means some people were like, oh, this is so great. I get to be no phone and I'm cut off. I mean, some people I think sort of enjoyed it. And then there were other people. I mean, I would say specifically me, I probably had one of the hardest times because of my child situation. So, I mean, I'm not being like, oh, it was the worst for me. No, everyone had their challenges. Don't get me wrong. But the biggest issue I had was that I could not sleep because I was used to waking up with my baby to feed and to do all that stuff. So I kept waking up on my normal schedule, and then I would be in full blown panic mode because I felt like I was like had lost my arm or something, because I would wake up like ready to, do what I needed to do, usually at 2 a.m. And then there was no baby, everyone's asleep. And it was just for the first, really the whole time I felt like I was crazy and I couldn't sleep at all. So the journal was like my one, you almost like talk to yourself in the book. Like you have to like write down things to keep you focused. And again, luckily I was with a great group of people. Like, I didn't have people that were like, oh, you're a terrible person, go away. I mean, and that was the great part, is that a lot of the people that I came so close with and such good friends with were the ones that would like stay up with me and just hang out, or like,
oh, that's cool.
I'd get up at 4:00 in the morning to make biscuits for everyone because I was just couldn't sleep. And sometimes they would wake up with me and drink coffee. So it really was, you're really competing against yourself, and you just happen to be in a house with other people that are also doing the same thing. That's really what it feels like.
Were there moments where you're like, you know what, I can't do this anymore, I gotta go home and see my kid?
Yeah, twice. I was like, I gotta go. I can't do this anymore. Twice it was like I had to literally like lock myself in the bathroom and tell myself not to call a producer. I can't go anywhere. I have to stay here.
And so you had a friend on the show who would talk you back into it, or you must have. That's the thing about Top Chef that I don't think people realize, is that the camaraderie. People might say, hey, it's an individual show, you're trying to win the whole thing. But I do think that helping each other out during these competitions, that actually helps to your advantage, because they pay it back. It's kind of like this, if you need someone, if you're a dick to everybody, that's not going to bode well for you, right? Like, it's not just a superficial, hey, I'm going to be nice to everybody because it's going to help me win this competition. But I do think that the whole family aspect of it really helps just survive.
No, and you're so right. And the other thing too is like, everyone is going to need help from someone at some point. And if you're the one that's a total jerk to everyone, don't look at me for help. You know what I mean? Like, we all were smart enough and mature enough to know that. If you look at seasons past, when has a total villain ever won? Never, because at some point he's going to need help from someone. And if you were the guy throwing everybody under the bus, good luck when you need help, because then people are going to be like, see ya. Every challenge, at least one person needed help plating, and one of us would stop our prep work when we literally had no time. It's not like we had time to do it. And if someone said, y'all, I'm drowning, I need help, one of us would stop. We would always figure out a way to help that person no matter what. There was never a moment where it was like, sorry, you're on your own.
Man.
If you were made czar of Top Chef for season 17, 18, whatever it is, and you could enforce one rule change, what would it be?
A rule change?
Yeah, all right. Whether it's a rule change for the parameters of the game, or for that matter, the way you guys were asked to live, or actually everybody was complaining about the local catering food. That was one thing that I think Justin said, that there was almost an uprising from you guys.
Justin eats like a 13-year-old boy. So that was like his most important thing. I mean, look, the joke when we were moving out of the house in Kentucky, I mean, I'm obviously was the mom in every way, shape, and form. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to check everyone's bedrooms and make sure nobody forgot anything when we had to leave the house. And we go and I was checking Justin and Eric's room, and you opened up Justin's like bedside drawer, and it was like Scooby snacks flew out. I was like, what is this? It was like candy, and like it was the funniest thing. So that would make sense that he'd say food. But I think it just depended. Sarah would say not being able to watch the news or have a clock. That drove her absolutely crazy.
But you're not even allowed to have a clock? Like a watch?
No, they changed that. Actually, was Brooke Williamson posted this picture not too long ago where she's wearing a watch on Top Chef from Charleston, and I commented, I was like, "You had a freaking watch?" And she like commented back, I was like, "You didn't have watches?" And I guess because of the Apple Watch thing, now you can like communicate on a watch, where before it was just like, we didn't know what time we were waking up. We had no idea what time it was ever.
Oh, Kevin.
Oh, I would go absolutely, like I would go insane. Like that is basically just torturing me.
I know.
Wait, so you would wake up in the middle of the night, not only having, thinking about your baby and nursing or whatever you needed to do, but you also didn't know what time it was? So you're just completely going crazy in your own head?
Yeah, so I really was going crazy. And so sometimes I would wake up and it was like, okay, 2 a.m. And so I'm like, I thought it was 5 or I thought it was 4:30. And so I was like, well, screw it. I'm just going to stay awake. I'll start making breakfast for people. And then it would be like I was just awake for 5 freaking hours because...
I mean, you had literally no way of even finding out. Like if you woke up, it was 1:30 in the morning. You think it's the dead of night. Maybe it's 5 a.m. Maybe it's 4 a.m. It could be, you literally have no idea.
No.
I mean, it's like being in a North Korean prison camp.
I mean, that's why when I got to China, I became like, this is why I will say there should never be a season again where it's like vets are on there, because that is the most unfair thing in the history of the world. Because just going from Kentucky to China, I was like, this is a different animal, because I'm going into China 2 weeks after the fact. I'm like, oh, I know how to play now. Let's go. I mean, and that was just 2 weeks after, where you got a breather and you got to just like have some conversations with normal people and have a watch on your wrist for 2 weeks. And then you go to China and you're like, oh, I can play this. You just learn how to manipulate things and like figure out how to make it advantage for yourself. And yeah.
So I have like a $30 Timex watch on my wrist that I wear. It doesn't have any Wi-Fi. It doesn't even have the date on there. It's just, it says the time. So your addition to the rules would be hand everyone that watch.
You know what I think would be what I would want in addition to the rules to be maybe is like, if we got, if they let us have like 10 recipes, do you know what I mean? Like
pre-approved, like you can send it through for approval and then they can let you go.
Well, we have a chef bin, for example, that we're allowed to bring over a certain amount of ingredients in. And I think and we can't use it every challenge. We only very rarely got to use it. But I think it'd be kind of cool if in those chef bins you could have 10 recipes. So it's not like you get them all the time. You only get them when they allow you, and they have to look at them. Just because there were some times where it was like the amount of time I wasted on, I forgot the ratio. For example, panna cotta during Restaurant Wars. I totally forgot the gelatin ratio to liquid. And so I had to like do test batches before I made my giant batch. And the amount of time I wasted was just stupid. And it's not really an advantage if I had, it's not that big of an advantage. If all of us had like, these are the things I want to know, 10 of them. Because never in our normal life do we ever have all this memorized. We look up ratios to, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's sort of like learning math in elementary school, and you're like, yeah, but I'm going to have a calculator one day. I mean, that's sort of what it's like. Is it would have been total game changer just to have a few recipes.
Wow. Well, it's a real just game changer. The fact that you had no concept of time. You're in Vegas. You're locked into the casino and you don't even know what time it is and you're not allowed to know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And y'all imagine what it was like when we get to China and it's totally different. You're dropped off and you know what the time was from your time, but then you're 24 hours later. So you're like, I don't even know what day it is anymore. I mean, China was total. Luckily, I learned to let go of all that by then, but China was really a cluster.
I'm just curious, just because I'm a total like flight nerd. Did you go to did you fly either Tallahassee, Atlanta, or Columbus, Atlanta, and then Atlanta, like Seoul, Hong Kong?
Yeah, that's yeah. I did Atlanta to Seoul.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And,
wow, that's a long. So you drove to Atlanta.
Yeah.
They sent you a car, I hope.
No, we have an airport in Dothan, so it was Dothan to Atlanta to Seoul, and then you take a ferry, and then from the ferry you take a car. So it's literally like planes, trains, automobiles, but with a ferry.
So you went, okay. Wow.
On the show, Kevin, remember last week, Mina, I think it was Mina, the episode we did with her, how we always are amazed. Yeah, it was when you guys were waking up in for the garden episode, and like,
oh yeah,
it's bright out, and you guys are just waking, what time is it? Like,
yeah, but chefs are like, you guys all sleep late. Like chefs, every chef I know is a vampire in Los Angeles.
I mean, I don't sleep late ever.
But you have you have a little one.
Yeah, but I'm also not your stereotypical chef. Like, I have a lunch restaurant. I'm working till like 2 or 3 during the day. I go to bed as like a normal person. So my life is pretty normal. It's not like a chef's life. But when
Tom Colicchio shows up and it's like bright as the sun outside, and you guys are like, "Whoa, Tom, what are you doing this early in the morning?" It feels like it's like 11.
Well, okay, and so the other thing about that one specifically, so usually when we had a challenge, we have like, the schedule is like quick fire challenge, and you have like a day break of interviews before the next one. But we were at the very, this is the last one, so I guess we had to like get it over with. So the night before was the last challenge. So we had gotten home. I don't think I went to bed till 4:30 that night. I mean, I would guess it was at least, because sometimes they would say like it's 2, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. They would tell us on the way home, just like what time is it? And sometimes we would get to know. So I vividly remember like when Tom woke me up first, actually. And he woke me up and I was like, what is this? I mean, just totally unexpected. We were completely caught off guard.
Yeah, so you guys had a late night before that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I believe it was like 9 a.m. It was not that late because you can't get started. I mean, we had a quick fire that day. You can't get started that late on those.
All right, well, Kelsey, where can we find your work currently? Where can we eat? And where can we see? Are you doing any events this spring or summer that we should know about?
Well, y'all should all follow me on Instagram, Kelsey Barnard Clark, and that's where you can kind of follow me with all the things I'm doing. And I post videos pretty regularly and try to be as up to date with that. But yeah, I'm hoping to be all over the place. I definitely got some stuff planned, and hopefully y'all will see me far past just Top Chef.
You ever do anything in Atlanta?
Yes, I do.
All right, because I'm here right now. It's where I was born and raised here, so I'm always
cool.
And I'm here all the time. Like, so I would love to go to a Kelsey Barnard Clark event in Atlanta, Georgia. If you ever give me advance notice, I can totally be here.
I will. I'm trying to get into the Atlanta Food and Wine Festival. So I get into that, I will let you know what you do.
Oh, that would be fun. Yeah, Atlanta's great right now for food, and would love to see you and your food here.
Yeah, we'll have to meet.
Yeah.
And I'll send y'all some key lime crunch just to eat.
Oh, no.
Man.
God.
Yeah.
I mean, Sarah sent us T-shirts. Kelsey, we need to have women in the top 5 every time. I think that's it, because they're the sweetest. They just
Southern
actually
women
get us stuff.
Southern hospitality,
No, I'm all. I have a bias on the show for Southern cuisine, because that is home for me. So the more the food approximates like a really good meat and 3, the happier I am.
Oh, I know. I totally agree. Give me a meat and 3 all day long.
Any day. All right, Kelsey, this has been an absolute pleasure. You're one of my absolute favorite competitors, again, for all the aforementioned reasons. I like how you play the game. I like how the awareness, the high IQ game of Top Chef you're playing.
Well, thanks so much. I appreciate it. It's kind of you to say.
All right, Kevin, why don't you take us out? The All Southern podcast episode of Pack Your Knives. Yes.
Absolutely. For Kelsey Barnard Clark in Dothan, Alabama, for Tom Haberthorne, Charlotte, North Carolina, this is Kevin Menowitz this week in Atlanta, Georgia, and this is Pack Your Knives.
Awesome.
Did I mispronounce my own name?
You did.
I think I mispronounced my own name.
Stop.